right, welcome to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. Once again, whatever you're doing, hey, you better stop. You don't want to miss this. You know, I have outstanding guests. And today we start off with Mayor Gail Parker Carter. Now, she's been here in Prince George County quite some time. In fact, she's a neighbor and a native. And then what happens here, we have Maryland National Capital Parking Plan, the great agency, and we have one of the supervisors here, and they're doing some renovation there over there in Glen Arden. You know, Glen Arden, I have to give them plug, #1 in the country. Tell me about it, Mrs. Carter.
Yeah, I'm a native, as you said, of the city of Glen Arden. I came here from Washington, D.C., was raised here, was a product of Prince George's County school system.
Mm-hmm.
I got involved with politics back in 2003 when there was a liquor store that was close to my block in the city of Glen Arden that was doing some business. We had some problems with the unsavory business and deals and that type of criminal activity and that sort of thing, and they were applying for a liquor license. And so I joined the advocate of citizens who were fighting against this award of the liquor license, and that just thrusted me into
jump right in. Okay, what about your family there? You know, you can't do all these things by yourself, especially all the meetings and everything.
Yeah, well, one of the hardest things for me to do as a big challenge as the mayor of the city of Glen Arden is trying to balance my personal life with my official life. But I've been able to manage it. I have a wonderful husband, Emmanuel, of 17 years, and also a daughter in Bowie State University, which is also my alma mater.
Right, my daughter went to Bowie State too. My son.
Yeah, I've also graduated from Prince George's Community College, so I wanted to give them a shout out. They've been very supportive of the city of Glen Arden.
Well, that's good. Tell us a little something about the Glen Arden. You know, some of the people don't know all the great things that Glen Arden been involved in.
Well, one of the most recently great things that we've been involved with is the opening of the Whitmore Town Center project. We have a premier store there, Wegmans and Costco's another anchor store, and we also have JCPenney's and Best Buy. And we're very happy to have all 4 of the anchor stores, as well as some of the other stores in the area, come out and find a home in the city of Glen Arden.
Great. Derek, tell us about this renovation of the rec center there and where it's located.
Well, the rec center is located on McLean Avenue, 8615 McLean Avenue, and that's just off of Glen Arden Parkway. And the renovation has been going on now for probably approximately 2.5 years. What you will see when you all come out to the dedication on October the 15th is an expanded gym. You're going to see a weight room that went from maybe having 7 or 8 pieces of equipment to having 20 pieces of equipment. You're going to see with the renovation a game room, a computer lab, and an art room. You're also going to notice when you come into the lobby, there are going to be some historical pictures that will give you just a brief synopsis, and a very brief synopsis of what Glen Arden is all about.
Okay, well, tell us some of the programs you're going to be offering to youngsters. And don't forget the senior citizen, you know. Well, we got to have a program for them, too.
Oh, well, the senior citizens will make sure we have programs for them.
Right. Or we'll demonstrate.
In a minute. But listen, as far as the senior citizens are concerned, we will have senior aerobics. We will have things, we will have workshops on retirement and the best way to continue to handle your money. We're going to also have something about fall and prevention, how to prevent falls, how to handle your balance. We're also going to do trips and excursions. We'll offer trips to New York to see plays and things of that nature. And that's just on the Glen Arden side. Don't forget now when the swimming pool opens up, we'll also offer water aerobics and swim lessons.
Good. Give us your background. How'd you get involved with? That's one of the greatest agencies. How many gold medals do Maryland?
We have 5 gold medals, and we're working on
medals.
6.
All right.
But my background is I grew up in Landover, which is just down the street from Glenarden. Been living in this county basically since I was about 3 or 4. Came from the district, just like the mayor. Went to high school, Largo High School.
Largo High School.
Yes, I went to Largo High School. I joined the agency in 1990, so I've been with them now for approximately 21 years.
Wow.
And I've enjoyed the ride. Been able to meet wonderful people like Mayor Carter, and just enjoyed the whole thing.
What are some of the projects that you're thinking about asking in your next budget for Glenarden?
Well, what we usually do, you talking about as far as Glenarden?
Yes.
What we usually do is we sit down and we consult with the mayor and the council in reference to what they would like to see. Once we consult with them, then we move forward on what we're going to ask for. Yeah.
Well, as some of the things, what things are you going to propose to the mayor that you yourself feel that
well,
you
right
need?
now, given that we're just opening, I think that once we get through a couple of months, we'll have a better idea on where we need to go in terms of what we need to ask for. Right now, with the center opening up, we have so much. We have state-of-the-art everything at this point, whether it's flat screen TVs in each room. We actually have a projection in the gym so that when the NCAA tournament comes up, we can project it out on the wall and just watch it as with the team program. So we have so much.
Watch the Redskins too, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. When they're winning, we'll show it.
Mayor, tell us something about the things that you yourself plan for. You know, everybody has an agenda, you know, in political scene, you know, everybody has an agenda, things they want to change. Just like what got you interested, you didn't want that liquor store there, so you jumped out there, and that's how people respond. Give us some ideas of what are you planning for Glenarden?
Well, I have a real passion for the youth and the seniors. I have gone through and made appointments to city committees, to both the Youth Advisory Committee as well as and I'm working on the Glenarden Senior Advisory Committee. And these organizations are established within the system, within the city, to assist the administration on providing programs and activities that benefit both of those groups. The Maryland National Park and Planning has been very helpful with working with the mayor's office on bringing programs that are particularly dedicated to the youth and the seniors. They have worked with us on the first 100 years Black History Month exhibit that took place in February.
The first 100 years for Glenarden. How old is? Give us some background on Glenarden.
Glenarden was established. It was, I don't know if established is the right word, but it became a community in the 1900s, and it was established in 1939. It became incorporated, that is, in 1939.
And that was that Mayor Cousins, or that was before?
He came later. He came
afterwards.
Yes, the first mayor was Mayor Swan.
Swan,
yes,
that's it. I couldn't think of his name. Yeah, Swan was.
But Mayor Cousins is notable because he has been the longest term mayor in the history of Glenarden. He served 27 years, I believe, 27 or 30 years. So, and he made strides in the city. He brought the urban renewal in, which impacted the community greatly. And you know, of course, we've martyred him. We've named our building after him and everything.
What's the population there? And what is
6,300. We have 6,300 residents.
63.
And we're still working on our fiscal year 2012 budget, but our fiscal year 2011 budget was $2.4 million.
How much?
2.4.
2.4.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So what about the council? How many members do you have?
We have 7 members of the council. We have a president and vice president, and then we have ward representatives, and we have 3 wards. currently we're hoping that there may be a possibility that we may have to do some redistricting
Yeah, that's a
later
sensitive
on.
thing everywhere.
Yes, I know.
The state is doing it.
Yes.
Everybody's redistricting.
So we're kind of waiting to see how things settle in the county and in the state to determine whether we'll have to venture down that road with the city of Glenarden, especially with the Woodmore Town Center project becoming at some point a residential area as well.
That sounds good. Derek, tell us about the educational programs that you are offering there at
Well,
the
right
center.
now we're going to have a computer lab, and in that computer lab we're going to start off with primarily children between the ages of 6 to 12 to educate them on how to use the computer, how to research information, how to do web design is something that we're going to get into. That is going to be a primary educational component of what we're going to offer. We're going to also attempt to work with Flowers High School in terms of bringing a tutoring program over, in terms of having the juniors and the seniors come over to help us tutor the kids who are in elementary school. So we're going to try to do that and add that as part of the educational component. In addition to that, what I had mentioned earlier, we're going to look at, again, dealing with senior citizens and how to manage their money in retirement. We're also going to talk about courses in terms of preparing people who are going to go into retirement and how to handle their money. Those are just several of the things that we're looking at this point.
Okay. Mayor, what about the economic development? What are you planning? You have, let's see, at least 2 other shopping centers in your city.
Well, yes, we have small strip mall areas in the city of Glenarden, but there's a particular interest to the city council and the mayor's office, the corridor, the Martin Luther King corridor,
Right.
where we are hoping to develop and redevelop some of that city property.
Mm-hmm. Great.
So we're working on a 5-year economic development plan.
5 year.
Yes.
Well, that's what everybody is doing.
Yes.
As you know, the way things are now, you know, everybody has that economic problem, and it's sort of, you know, put things on the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
But what I want to do, I want to thank you too for being here. Just like I said, Glenarden is one of the #1 cities in Prince George's County. It has added so much history to Prince George County, and people like you all have made the county what it is today, because that's where it started with towns like Glenarden, Fairmont Heights, and Bowie, and things like that that have been working. And we want you to continue to do that, so you can come back on the Ed Brown Show and tell us, like, okay, this is Ed Brown. Hey, I'll be back in a second. Don't go away.
All right.
Hi, welcome back to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. And then we're dedicating this show, half of this show, to Nancy Dixon Saxon. She is the council lady from Fairmont Heights, and she's made such a terrific contribution in over 50 years to Prince George County development. Nancy, welcome to the Ed Brown Show.
Here.
And it's a pleasure to have. I've worked with you many, many times, and I know that what you've done and how you've done it and the sacrifices you made. Welcome here. Tell us, Nancy, when did you start working in Prince George County? You must have been 6 years old, weren't you?
Yes. I am, privileged. One of those people who's been privileged. And when I say privileged, it's because as a child, I was from historical Washington, D.C., and a constant which called T Street Hill. And as a child, my parents, we traveled to in the Southern County because we had a property in Cedar Haven, which is a part of Acre Harbor. And that's how I got involved. I knew about Prince George's. I've always, I guess we will say that I'm from Prince George's and historical D.C.
Right.
And how I got involved over the years is coming up. I came along and I met Steny Hoyer and Decatur Trotter, and then I moved to Fairmont Heights. And how I got in Fairmont Heights is because when I got married, I wasn't used to living in apartments, so my family owned property all over the county. And so in Fairmont Heights was a piece of property that they told me that they gave me as a wedding present.
Is that
So
right?
that's how I got to Fairmont Heights, and while I'm still in Fairmont Heights. And
Fantastic. How long you been there? 40 or 50?
Well, I've been here over since about 40 years.
40 years. That's what I knew it was in the 40s. Yes.
And then as I came into Fairmont Heights, then I met with Mrs. Luckett, who used to be the mother of Silver Vista Baptist Church. And then as she asked me to do different things in the community, because she knew I had health background. And that's my background is health, because I came from public health service. And then after that, we just went on, and I got involved in the community with weatherization, helping the people to find out where they could go get health care, and just donating my time. And then as the time went by, when Mr. Gray and it was the mayor, and then after that, Ruth Brown became mayor. Then after Ruth Brown became mayor, she knew my background, and she used to be on the historical, was the first African-American on the historical preservation, I think. And then she tried to get Fairmont Heights on the National Register, and they always would knock her down. And then after that, Mrs. Margaret Brooks, she was working with the group. It's called Friends for the Historical Preservation of Fairmont Heights. It's a group that Sam Parker started with them, with the late Mrs. Gray, and the late Margaret Brooks, and the late was a couple other ladies. And so after that, Ms. Brooks got sick. She said, Nancy, will you do the historical preservation group for me? And I said, yes, Margaret, I would. Then when I turned around, I looked remember Ruth was trying to get on the National Register. I go to the Fairmont Heights Library and find that all of our history is stored up in a closet. And all it was just thrown around, and people was taking it out. So my suggestion, I looked on the fourth floor of the library. It was not but a junk room. So I went to former Jack Johnson, and I told him about this section. How could I get this section? And I wanted to preserve the history of the area, not only Fairmont Heights, but we had Ma Mitchell, who started the Underground Railroad. So he told me that we got that together, and he said, well, Nancy, we don't have any money. You have to do it on your own. So me knowing I could go out there and do it on my own, so I did it on my own. So you got to remember that in my school, when I was in school, we used to call it Negro History Week. And we only had the 1 week. And I used to write about Du Bois all the time, how he did. When I got to Fairmont Heights and found out that Pittman, Booker T. Washington, all the really people who made a difference in the United States, then they lived there.
Lived in Fairmont Heights?
They lived in Fairmont Heights. And
Wow.
Pinckney, at the Pinckney house, the little boy you see in the history books with Roosevelt, and so he's got the big white hat, and this little black boy is sitting beside it. He was from Fairmont Heights, Pinckney.
No
And
kidding.
all that family, everybody lived in that house all the time until this lady lived there now. She's the owner. Those homes are still intact. They need work done on them, but to keep them intact as historical sites. So I'm beginning to work with the ones only who was declared as historical buildings.
Right.
And that's my little group I work with. So after we started that, I went to Steve Proctor and all them and told them about what I was trying to do. Well, I said, I don't want any money. I need some paint.
You didn't want any money. They like
Didn't want
that.
any money. So I needed some paint because I didn't want to have anybody saying that I was leaning on somebody, because Fairmont Heights Library is a county building. So then when I went to him, and then I went to Brandywine, and then Brandywine asked me what I need, and I told him paint. Then he wanted to know what kind of paint, and I told him where the paint was coming. Then what he did, he asked the employee who they get their paint from. So what they did was, they told me to go there. I never had to exchange funds. I went to get the paint at Duron up in Marlow Heights. So the paint was there. And then when I turned around, I needed some frames for to frame these pictures. I went to Park and Planning with Sam, and he put me in touch with the lady in parking planning, and what they did with Nolan and with Thomas. So what they did was went back and they said all these pictures and things have been thrown away in some way, in a way to keep them. So what I did was I said, okay. Then I went and then I had to get money together to get the frames. And when I got the money each frame, then I went and got them framed. And then parking planning helped me to get the room set up. And what it's called a historical reading room and art gallery. And around the wall, you'll see Pittman, who has started the Y downtown. He's involved with the Y. And all this around, you can see from the beginning all this, what he have done for the town. And the other thing is that I thought about it, that Ruth Brown wanted us to be on the National Register. And every time I went to HBC, Historical Society meeting, everybody else down in Broad Creek and College Park, so I said, why not Fairmont Heights? So then at that time, the mayor was Madeline Richardson, Mrs. Lucky granddaughter. I say, Madeline, come on. We got to get this done. So we went to Jack, and when Jack came to the meeting, he stated that he wanted HBC, wanted Sam and them, to make sure we're on the National Register. So at that time, what happened, parking plans that we don't have no money. Well, Jack said, well, I make sure there's money in there for you to do whatever Fairmont Heights need to be done so they can be on the National Register. And where it stands now is that we're down to, we went to the state, and then we went down to, we're at the National Register downtown. And they would make a decision after by the end of the year, because they keep involved.
End of this year,
right?
2011.
That we will be on the National Register, and which is good.
Congratulations! Congratulations!
And which is good about that is because people come in and they can't just tear down, and had to have an easement. And the easement is that you just can't. It stays historical,
right?
And you just can't just put all these new houses like they're doing.
Right.
So there are about 21 homes in the town of Fairmont Heights.
21 houses are going to be on the National Register?
No, the whole town is going to be.
The whole town
is going to be on the National Register because...
This year, 2011?
We're hoping that it'll be done this year.
Oh,
and the reason why... Thank
you.
And the reason why is because every time somebody would come here, especially from Africa or some other places, they would want to know, where's this place where Pittman and Booker T. Washington grew up and all this? And then they found out it was Fairmont Heights. So I always tell people, we are the only historical black town, African-American town, or whatever you want it, in the United States, in the world. Because that is where all the people came and they stayed. And we had people who used to work at the Bureau of Engravement. They came there. It was one house. Then I found out that Mrs. Roosevelt and used to come in Fairmont Heights with her friend of hers, and they would come there, and her people worked for her was there,
right?
And they would come to see the Pittman. So therefore, that's the reason why I'm more interested in, because I came from a historical place, because I know the value of preserving your history,
right? Not
tearing it down, letting new houses, and it's not about. Is Nancy doing this? It's about because Ruth Brown, she was the first woman to sit on HBC, I think, or chair, and because she had tried so hard to do this, and nobody wouldn't pay her no attention.
Right, but at least you got involved with it.
Got involved,
And you got parking planning actually now is involved in it, and giving you support. Now, what about volunteers? Don't you need someone to help you there? With some of that physical work.
When it comes down to volunteers, I'm very picky. I'm very picky with who I choose to work with, who I need to support me. I need support from everybody, don't color who it is. But I found out that when they come to volunteer, they want to pick through all of your information and pick your brains, and then they want to say, oh, I can't do it anymore. And then there you look, your book or your reading is somewhere in somebody's collecting money.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And that's the reason why.
And that's the way you keep control of it.
Control of it.
Yeah. I think that's just fantastic. A lot of people don't realize the historical value that Fairmount Heights bring to the country.
Right.
Yeah, not just Prince George County, not just to the state of Maryland.
Right.
Because it has the background there that you have been working on. And when I saw you at the dedication of Marvin Wilson, I thought about that. I knew that you've been on the council how long?
Well, I was on the council. I got on it with Mr. Gray, then I got off. And then I got back on the council because I found out that the people kept saying, well, Nancy, you need to be on the council because people are coming in, getting on the council, and they are not people who really know about background, know about Fairmont Heights, unless you be involved with the town and been involved with the civic association or working with town or you're raised in the town. Then I think that you really should be on the council. Right. That's my feeling. But other people say, well, I lived here 1 year and I can be on the council. So it's kind of good that now
you have someone with a background and experience. Like most people do not know the background of a county or a city or anything. They just run for the office. But I think your value is terrific, and I congratulate you and Fairmont Heights for being selected on as a historical site. And this is something Prince George can be proud of. Right. And we have right in our midst, we have Fairmont Heights. They're a new place in the historical world of today. See you next time.
Oh, it's all over. Let me see what it look like. Because I got